On Netflix, right? Shh. You know, just yesterday I was watching How I Met Your Mother, and they suddenly introduced me Friends. You know, like, isn't that weird?
What are you getting at?
I mean, not that I don't like Friends. I think it's very, very good lah. The Netflix suggested something like that. So I did some research, and I realized, right, there's something that video streaming industries use to keep their customers happy.
You're not happy that they're trying to make you happy?
No, I am, but it's weird, don't you feel? It's like someone spying on you when you're showering. Netflix uses big data analytics to figure out what makes you happy. It's like they know where you are when you're showering, you know.
Big data?
Yeah, big data. Netflix uses a variety of big data to analyze our data and then to make viewing so much better for us. So they use 3 different kinds of analytics tool. One is descriptive, one is predictive, and one is prescriptive.
And I'm guessing Netflix uses
everything, yes! For descriptive, Netflix takes the information that they already have on us and summarizes them, right? And describes this data. And this analysis provides information regarding, I don't know, sales, films, most watched, operations, finance, everything. They find the correlation, right, between these various variables.
And this information can be used for predictive analysis?
That's right.
I'm guessing the benefits will include Netflix would know the kind of problems their app encounters, then they know what to do.
Yes, I mean, with all that information, right, they can use it to help in other analytics like predictive and prescriptive. And with all this information, right, Netflix can gather all this data and create nice little tables and flowcharts to tell us about the present and of the past.
What about the future?
That's when prescriptive and predictive come in. Chris, come in. So predictive analytics, right, actually uses the historical data from the descriptive analytics portion, right, to actually make sense of the future and to make sense of any problems that Netflix might face in the future.
Wait. I think I can figure this out. The benefits are that they're able to recommend to the customers what kind of shows that are relevant based on what they like, what they watch more of, and then maybe they can also end up creating shows to better suit our taste.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh. I bet they're able to predict the success rate of a show also. Say like, for example, the recent show was that El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie. I think like maybe a few million people have watched it, so they can base on like the number of Netflix accounts that log in and click on that show, and then maybe, you know, the duration that they watch until to figure out like how many people continue watching all the way or they just stop halfway. Then all this like the streaming is amounting to data for Netflix to use, and they can use this to build predictive models also.
Wow, good job, Sunder.
Thank you, Ben. Then I think also the ratings of the show, they can judge based like customers after they watch, they can just click on like, do you like this show, you don't like this show. Then I think Netflix can also, like, you can log into different devices, so maybe they can use that to gauge like what platform, what device are their customers watching. Maybe more people prefer to watch on the phone because they are traveling. Then some people rewatch the shows, so you know they have to account for those double counting and stuff like that, the time spent watching. I think even right, they can tell when we pause the show that we want to get drinks or visit the washroom. They can. That's all big data also, right?
Yeah, you're right. I think now that we have talked about all this, the fact that Netflix introduced Friends to me doesn't seem all that weird now. So Netflix also uses prescriptive analytics, but that's a little bit more tricky, just like this post here. So prescriptive analytics actually uses both descriptive and predictive analytics to help.
So it's like getting a prescription when you go to see the doctor lah.
Not really. So Netflix continues to use prescriptive analytics to make sound and good decisions. So let me just give you an example. Like, House of Cards?
The Kevin Spacey show.
Yes. So Netflix actually, they didn't even ask for their viewers' opinion. They went straight into big data, and they figured that viewers probably watch shows with Kevin Spacey in it at the same time. For House of Cards, they didn't even bother doing a pilot test for the episode. They just went straight in to do an entire season.
They made a good call on that.
So let me give you another example. Don't worry, it's a very, very short one. Daredevil?
Oh yeah.
So Netflix actually use big data. They use prescriptive analytics to figure out whether or not they should shoot another season, because based on the fan review, based on how many likes they're getting and how many watches and views the season is getting, they decided to do one more season because more money.
I think I was one of those who asked for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Actually, interestingly, right, prescriptive analysis also can tell you what not to do. Doesn't mean every time it's the data tell you what to do. Also, like for example, the data might tell the decision makers of the company that they should make it harder to quit Netflix to increase their customer retention rate. It's like, hey, I cannot find how to delete. Never mind, I just stay on Netflix because too mafan what. But then the decision makers might feel otherwise. Like if we come off as too, not good for not good for their reputation, then they decide, actually no. If our customers don't want anymore, they can leave anytime. We make it the user interface also like just one click you can leave. Then as a customer, like my example, I also feel like, wow, they're not hiding anything from me, you see. They decide that if I'm happy with the product, I'm not happy, it's my decision to make. So of course I'll feel like they respect me too, I respect them, so I'll continue to use their service. So that's an example of how it's not just the data suggesting what's the solution. It may not be the best solution. Sometimes Netflix also, like whoever's using the data can come in and say like, okay, the data suggests this, but as a human being, I understand my customers better. This is the decision that I want to make. So there's like, they complement each other. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Interesting. So Sunder, do you understand why Netflix is consistently on top of the game now? Netflix is so big, they have so much users, so much data. Netflix can literally be considered a standalone analytics firm. So let's take for example, if they have more data, more users, more data equals better analytics, better outcome, therefore better experience again for the user, and ultimately it fulfills their very purpose, which is to increase their customer retention rate and therefore their profit. So you see, it's a virtuous cycle. It goes on and on and on and on, and Netflix will never run out of big data to use. Wow, exactly. So to your point just now about how improving reputation might not really be, it might be against the big data analytics model, but at the end of the day, the user is the one who determines the usefulness. And in this case, having a good reputation may not really be a bad thing after all, especially when you're trying to bring in new users. So at the end of the day, with a good reputation, big data, I think Netflix is no longer an afterthought. It's always the first video streaming industry that people think about. Yeah, she's coming.
What is this? Who teach you one? You all must have been talking, is it? So, what have you all been talking about?
Very long.
maybe we summarize for you.
So the video streaming industry, not just Netflix, such as Hulu, Amazon Prime, and even Hook in Singapore, they all use big data analytics such as descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive to retain and gather information about their clients. This information thereby goes on to help them resolve problems they have or problems they may face in the future, therefore creating an environment in which they can retain customers and retain the customer's loyalty to the brand itself. So all in all, big data is very, very important. Big data is super duper useful, especially if the user uses it correctly. And all in all, again, it may not really be that much of a coincidence when Netflix, for example, actually introduces you or suggests a show for you that you actually like to watch.
That's right.